At 22, I wasn't just disowned. I was erased. My father slid a single document across the polished mahogany of his desk, the family's sacred altar. My mother stood by like a statue, refusing to meet my eyes. And my two older brothers, Marcus and Leo. They were practically measuring the drapes in the office that was supposed to be mine one day.
"It's a matter of practicality, Alex," my father said, his voice completely flat. "Sterling legacy requires a certain kind of leadership, a traditional leadership."
He didn't have to say the rest. I was the third son, the artistic one who saw the world in code and algorithms, not spreadsheets and smokestacks. I was a glitch in their perfect analog dynasty. My brothers just smirked, the victors in a race I never even knew I was running. I was handed a check he called a severance. It was enough to disappear, but not enough to matter. I wasn't a Sterling anymore. I was just left behind. That check felt like poison in my hands. I walked out of that mansion, the stone lions at the gate seeming to mock me, and I didn't look back. The first year was a blur. I ended up in a cramped, leaky apartment where the scent of instant noodles became the smell of my failure. I was drowning in the silence, haunted by my father's dismissal and my brother's laughter. Every news article celebrating Sterling Legacy's latest quarterly earnings felt like a fresh slap in the face. But one night, staring at a flickering monitor, something shifted. The bitterness didn't disappear, but it sharpened into a single cold point of focus. My family saw my passion for technology as a weakness, a distraction. But I knew their empire, built on traditional manufacturing and old boy networks, was a dinosaur admiring its own fossilized footprint, oblivious to the asteroid right over its head. So, I started building. That pitiful severance check became my seed money. I didn't sleep. I coded. I didn't eat. I devoured textbooks on logistics, AI, and market disruption. I channeled every ounce of betrayal into creation. I found a small team of believers, other outcasts who saw the future the way I did. We worked out of a garage, a cliché I would have laughed at in my old life, and called our company Apex Innovations. While Sterling Legacy was busy polishing its reputation, we were building the tools that would make it obsolete. It took 5 years, 5 years of ramen, rejection, and relentless work. 5 years of watching my family's smug faces in business journals, completely unaware of the storm gathering just over the horizon. After 5 years, Apex Innovations wasn't a garage startup anymore. It was a force, a silent predator in the tech logistics space, systematically dismantling the old guard. Our software could predict supply chain disruptions with frightening accuracy, rerouting global shipments in minutes, a task that took Sterling Legacy weeks and a team of 50. We started small, poaching their dissatisfied clients one by one. The whispers grew louder. Who was this Apex Innovations? Their efficiency was unnatural. Their growth, terrifying. I stayed a ghost, my name scrubbed from every public document. The company's public face was a brilliant CEO I'd hired, a woman named Elena who relished the fight as much as I did. I'd sit in on video calls with my camera off, listening to my father's executives call us aggressive, unscrupulous, a parasite. My brothers would rant on industry panels about this mysterious competitor playing by a different set of rules, with no idea they were cursing their own blood. The beauty of it was that I didn't need shady tactics. I just had to be better, faster, smarter. I knew every single flaw in Sterling Legacy because I grew up inside its walls. I knew my father valued tradition over innovation, and my brothers prized optics over operations. I used their arrogance and willful ignorance as my roadmap. Apex didn't just steal their market share, we made them look ancient, an artifact in a world that had already moved on. Soon enough, their quarterly reports started turning red. Sterling Legacy, the unsinkable titan, was taking on water. Stories of betrayal and revenge are everywhere, but how often does the underdog actually get to write the final chapter? We see it in business and in our own lives when someone is underestimated. If you find stories like this compelling, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell, because the most satisfying part of this story is coming right up. The next 2 years were a controlled demolition. Every time Sterling Legacy tried to modernize, we were already 3 steps ahead. They'd invest millions in new software, and we'd release an update that made it obsolete overnight. They'd try to secure a major contract, and we'd undercut them with a proposal that was cheaper and offered 10 times the value. Their stock price, once a source of immense family pride, began a steady, humiliating decline. The panic in the financial news was palpable. Analysts openly questioned Sterling's inability to adapt. My father, once a lion of industry, looked tired and haunted in his rare public appearances. My brothers, who had inherited the crown, were finding it far too heavy. Their public statements grew more and more defensive, blaming market conditions, unfair competition, anything but their own incompetence. Then came the call I'd been waiting for. The board of Sterling Legacy, facing a mountain of debt and an investor revolt, had made a decision. They were putting the company up for sale. It was over. They were broken. Their only hope was a buyout. My bankers, acting for an anonymous holding company I'd created for this exact purpose, made an offer. It was generous, well above the company's cratering market value, a lifeline, a golden parachute designed to look like mercy. With no other serious bids, they had no choice. They took the deal. The final signing was scheduled in their boardroom, the very room where my life had been dismantled. I walked into the Sterling Legacy boardroom, and for a second, time stood still. Nothing had changed. Same mahogany table, same oil paintings of my ancestors, same suffocating air of entitlement. My father sat at the head of the table, a ghost of the man he once was. My mother was beside him, looking frail. My brothers, Marcus and Leo, sat opposite them, their faces a mix of defeat and resentment. They were waiting for a stranger to walk in and buy them out. The door opened, and I walked in. Alone. The silence was absolute. My mother's hand flew to her mouth. My brothers stared, their confusion slowly twisting into horror as they recognized me. My father just looked at me, his face turning a sickly pale. He looked like he'd seen a ghost. I gave a thin, cold smile that didn't reach my eyes. I walked to the head of the table, to my father's throne, and stood there looking down at them. Hello, father, mother, brothers.
What is this?
This is a matter of practicality. Sterling Legacy requires a certain kind of leadership, not traditional, modern, the kind that understands the world doesn't wait for you. You two were so eager to measure the drapes. How does the new upholstery feel? Because from where I'm standing, it looks like you ran this legacy straight into the ground.
Alex, please.
No, you didn't speak for me then. You don't get to speak now. You all watched as I was erased. You decided I wasn't worthy. You called my vision a hobby. You thought that check would be the last you ever heard from me. For 7 years, I have lived and breathed for this. Every line of code, every deal, every client. It was all for this moment. Not for the money, not for the power, but for this exact look on your faces. The look of realizing that the son you left behind just bought your entire world. I'm the anonymous buyer. This company, this building, this table, it's all mine. It's been a year since that day. The name Sterling Legacy is gone, absorbed under the Apex umbrella. I sit in my father's old office, but it's completely transformed. The dark wood is gone, replaced with glass and open space. The company isn't just surviving, it's thriving, posting growth the old regime could only dream of. We innovate, we adapt, we lead. As for my family, it was the poetic justice I'd promised myself. My father was forced into a quiet, unceremonious retirement, a man haunted by his own pride. My brothers, stripped of their titles and trust funds which I had every legal right to dissolve, had to find actual jobs. For the first time, they're learning what it means to work, and my mother lives with her regret, a spectator to the consequences of her silence. People ask if I did it for revenge. In the beginning, maybe, but standing here now, looking out over a city powered by the technology they mocked, I realize it was about something more. It was about proving that a legacy isn't something you inherit, it's something you build, and I built mine from the ashes of the one they tried to deny me. The most powerful comebacks are the ones nobody sees coming. They're a testament to resilience and the drive to rewrite your own story. If you enjoyed this journey from outcast to owner, hit that like button and subscribe for more stories about turning the tables. Let me know in the comments, was this justice or was it just business?